Remarkable! Incredible! Unbelievable!
Save! And fuck our champions!
Good on Pepe! Goal!
It doesn't get any better than that!
Now that conference finals have been decided, it's time to get to the really fun part. APSL Final Four starts now, pitting the best team from the top 4 APSL conferences against each other to see who's the king of East Coast semi-professional soccer. The first of today's 2 matchups features the Westchester Predators, winners of the Delaware River Conference, against KO Elites, the Constitution Conference champions. The winner of this match will punch their ticket to the APSL Final. Don't go anywhere. Kickoff is just a few minutes out. Welcome back to sunny Upper Macungie Township, Pennsylvania, here on the campus of Whitehall High School for the first of two APSL semifinals. So for those of you unfamiliar with how this league works, APSL has a bunch of different divisions, and now what you're getting to see is some of the top teams from each of those divisions squaring off against each other to see who is going to be king of the hill. And what's interesting is you're looking at two newcomers to this format. Westchester it's their first season, believe it or not, it's their first season in the APSL Delaware River Conference. Now that's mostly in the Philadelphia area. There's a team from Lancaster. We have Westchester, of course. There's a couple teams from New Jersey. And Westchester took that division by storm. Through 18 games, ladies and gentlemen, they scored 98 goals. That's an average of about 5 a game. On the other hand, you have KO Elites coming from that Constitution Conference. And the beautiful thing about the APSL is that you don't need to win the regular season title to appear in these league finals, because everyone gets thrown into a big playoff. And KO Elites happen to win that playoff, coming from 3rd place in the regular season. They played 6 games and they scored 10 points. Now, the interesting thing to keep in mind here is that in 6 games, they allowed 7 goals. So, to quote the late, great John Madden, in black, you have Westchester, the unstoppable force. In pink, you have KO Elites, the immovable object. Something's got to give here, folks, because tomorrow afternoon, we have the APSL final. One of these two teams is going to be in it. And in about 90 minutes time, maybe a little bit extra if we have a tie game through regulation, we're going to find out who is going to punch that ticket. Something to keep in mind is that Westchester is not at full strength, not even close, I'd argue. They are a club that is in multiple competitions. Today, they've got 3 games going on. Some of the mainstays of this Westchester team that we've seen all season in the APSL Delaware River Conference are unavailable here today. One of the really, really notable ones, of course, is a team of the season candidate in Kenneth Roby. 13 goals and 7 assists for that man that they are missing out there tonight. However, featuring for Westchester is Ridge Robinson. Through 18 games, this man scored 23 goals, including another goal in the Delaware River Conference final. And he didn't even feature in all 18 of those games. He battled an injury partway through the season, so he didn't even feature in some of those games. So, as I say, Westchester, a goal-scoring powerhouse. It is very rare that you get a game where you are not going to see the scoreboard light up for Westchester. How will they fare against an opponent that is new to them and new to this format in KO Elites? Only one way to find out, and it's through 90 minutes of some of the best grassroots soccer we have here in the Northeast, and we are underway here in Whitehall. As that first ball, bit of a wishful thinking off the starting whistle, and will trickle out for a goal kick. While we have some time, I want to remind you that today's Game and Frame broadcast is sponsored by Salt Athletics. Salt have made the world's freshest, most advanced cleat bag. The Air Case uses antimicrobial technology to block smell, making for odor-free car rides and houses. Salt is offering the Game and Frame community an exclusive discount, so scan that QR code to get 10% off. And remember, to keep it fresh. Goal kick goes short for Westchester. Gonna look to play out of the back here, try to go down the line, but yeah, that advance is blocked. Valentin Nice, the man between the sticks for Westchester today. Going down this left-hand side, see if they can find a little bit more space. See that tight formation from KO. Left foot whipped into the box, chested down at the near post. Can KO keep it? They cannot. Liam Beckwith, the man making the interception. Owen Slack trying to get things ticking in the middle of the park. They will eventually go all the way back and sling it around that back line. Joe McDade on the ball. He had a big goal late in the Delaware River Conference season. A really nice through ball played into the box they go, and that ball slammed off of the attacking player, Michael Tidites, and flies over the end line for a KO Elites ball. As I mentioned, we got a lot going on here at Game in Frame. So after this game, you can't miss the next leg of the semifinals. We have Nova taking on Pan Cyprian coming your way at 7 p.m. And then, of course, you can't miss tomorrow. That is the final. The winner of this match versus the winner of that match. See who's going to be crowned APSL champions. That's coming your way tomorrow at noon here on Game in Frame, your home for grassroots soccer here in the Northeast. Ball zipped in, middle of the park once again. Liam Beckwith trying to make things tick. You can already see how well-disciplined this KO Elites team is. Well-drilled defensively. There's not a lot of room in there for the Westchester midfield, and I think you're going to have to see more of this. McDade kind of making a darting run up from the back line, and that's trouble. No, that is no good. That is an own goal. Just minutes in to this match, a miscommunication between center back and goalkeeper, and the opening goal of this match is an own goal. 1-0 to the Predators. Darting up from the back line was McDade. He played a little glancing through ball, and the back pass was speculative to say the least. Kind of clipped it over a big collision over on the right hand side, and referee says he's happy to let that go as a throw in. Something we haven't talked about yet, maybe some nerves creeping in. Both of these teams, again, new to this format, new to this semifinal match. And some wires being crossed defensively for KO. Have them with a hill to climb early on in this one, less than 4 minutes in. But here they come on the attacking side of the ball. Through ball attempt was cut out by Westchester. A little 1-2 down the right-hand side, trying to be cut in. KO picks that out. Clip forward, Westchester. Darting run is a good one, but the ball never came. And now KO will look to counter. A 1-2 played in the middle of the park. McDade cutting it out. Just might have spoke too soon. No, referee awards a free kick right around midfield. For those of you who haven't seen Westchester before, keep in mind we have two McDades on the field. We have Joe and Jack, and they're one number apart, with the same first initial, same last name. So it's a bit of a bear for us here in the commentary box and perhaps you watching, but bear with me. I'll try to identify Joe and Jack as applicable. KO now trying to have just a spell of possession, but Ridge Robinson cuts that out. And strong challenge, referee says too strong. And Owen Slack, the man on the receiving end of that foul. Might be a bit too far out to have a go here. McDade goes back to McDade. That's Jack back to Joe. Down the left they come. Nice turn. Inside, the 1-2 was on, and I think the return ball was just a bit too hot. That was Robinson trying to find Lacey, who's had 9 goals and an assist on the campaign this season, so it's been a good one for him. down the left. The ball was looking for August Ginley, but too strong. Goalkeeper for KO goes backwards. And you see, if this is your first time seeing Westchester, you're going to see that press. It is suffocating for other teams, and it's part of the reason that they scored so many goals, because they win the ball in positions like these. Robinson in behind, but flag is up from the assistant referee, inches away from a really good opportunity. If you are not watching this game locally, you need to know that these players are dealing with a scorcher. Temperatures flirting with 90 degrees, heat index a little higher than that, plus they're on turf, which is always a little bit warmer still. We do have a hydration break in the cards, according to the league executives, so keep an eye out for that about halfway through this first half. Keep in mind that can and most likely will be added on as stoppage at the end of each half. So not missing action, just a chance for these players to cool down a bit, as KO giving Westchester a taste of their own medicine with that higher press. Dejon Beckford, 3 goals, co-leading goal scorer for this KO Elites team in the regular season campaign in the Constitution Conference. Ball zipped in, looking for that big target forward, but a little bit wide of Shaquan Facey's foot. He had a goal in the league campaign this year. Keep in mind, that Constitution Conference only had 6 games, so the goal-scoring totals aren't going to be what you saw from Westchester this season. And onside is Westchester as they come down this right-hand side. Nice tackle out on that far side. KO Elites, again, just trying to keep Westchester at bay early on here. It's Michael Ware putting in a really nice sliding challenge. All ball, no man. Exactly how you teach it. Ball whipped in to Robinson in the middle, headed clear. A little twist and a turn from Beckford. Can he beat that Westchester player? Nice Cruyff turn from Ginley to maybe spring a counter. Robinson, the intended target, but hoofed away. Fizzed into the middle of the park. A little more space for Westchester. Diagonal ball intended for Lacey, but couldn't quite find him. And we do have a man down, which is why I saw it. A little halt in play. That's Beckford, and that's not what you want to see if you're a KO Elites fan. Co-leading goal scorer, a goal down. Just 10 minutes into this game. And maybe it's not an injury, so both shoes are off, which makes me think that may be an equipment issue. Looks like he's moving around okay, which is good news for Elites fans. So something to note, especially darker colored cleats, when it gets this hot, you actually do have to keep an eye on the adhesive in those cleats melting. Sometimes the body of the boot can come off that molded spike piece on the bottom. Might be what happened there, as it looks like Beckford is already coming back on. So good news for KO Elites, avoided an injury. I was worried when he went down, but playing at, looks like Beckford's about to be waved on by the 4th official. Meantime, McDade is making some advances down the middle of this park. Lacey over the top, touchdown to his feet. Nice tackle, but we'll have a corner for Westchester. Lamar Chansey with some good 1v1 defending on the edge of that box. That's when Westchester gets really, really dangerous. Once those dribblers on the wing start beating those outside backs and running in unopposed. Referee's not happy with the starting position of that ball. And wow, you don't see that much. The player won an argument with a referee. Put that one in the Hall of Fame towards the center of the box. I don't know if it was punch clear or headed clear, but it's gone temporarily. Back into the box, headed clear, onto the bar, just inches from the second goal for Westchester. Back out it comes, into the box again we go. McDade, oh, he made contact, but I don't think he made contact with the head. Might have come off a chest or a shoulder and bounced wide. And look at this, KO Elite's playing quick. Bit too quick as that ball goes out. That ball was headed onto the bar, and the goalkeeper was left stranded for KO Elites. Here come Westchester once again. Oh, that's a bad collision. We're playing on. McDade, top of the box. Out to Lacey. Whipped in. Nobody home. And I'm thinking we might have at the very least, a stern talking to by the referee, but we'll see if a card is needed. And a card not needed, according to the referee. You might be hearing some protests from the Westchester bench. That was Sean Buchanan who laid the hit on the Westchester man and escaped the referee's book. Westchester coming back up through the middle. You can see KO trying really hard to keep a line in the middle of the park. And as soon as it's broken, Westchester look incredibly, incredibly dangerous. But now, looks like the first time they had numbers going forward, but through ball a bit too heavy. And Valentine Nice will come out to collect it. Westchester comfortable keeping it around the back here. Robinson making a run in behind. Look at this, Lacey in all alone. The offside flag stays down. What a save by the goalkeeper. Back out to Westchester's feet. The hit from distance, another save, still bouncing around. Eventually, it's cleared. And now we'll get a whistle. Huge double save from KO Elite's goalkeeper, Giovanni Grant. Keeps the deficit at 1 for now. What a couple of saves, especially that first one. Really came off his line quickly to close down the space. And it was sorely needed. Lacey was in basically by himself. Coming in from that weak side, Robinson won that header. And a huge save early in this match. Joe McDade. Again, this darting run, something to keep an eye on. Lacey gets his pocket picked. Back and forth goes the possession arrow in the center of the park. KO Elite's going back, and then here's this press. Look at 3 black shirts flying towards the ball. Really nice ball from Grant. Into the middle of the park. McDade clears. Robinson beating 3 pink shirts to that ball. And Robinson protesting that no call by the referee. Come backwards to Buchanan. That press very nearly got there. And a little bit of space on the right-hand side for the Predators. Some quick feet to create a little bit of space, picked off by Buchanan, but he lost it. Slack working into the box. Robinson, ball at his feet, cuts it back. Easy as you like. Great team goal from Westchester. Makes it 2-0. Jack McDade with the finishing touch to a brilliant move. Unselfish play by Ridge Robinson. Owen Slack, the man making it happen at the front end. And 2-0, your score. Less than 20 minutes into our first semifinal. You can see why Westchester dominated the Delaware River Conference this year. An overwhelming, suffocating press is an onslaught to every team they play against, and you can see KO Elite probably hasn't had that kind of treatment in their Constitution Conference schedule. Good defensive effort from the Elites to try and pen Westchester in. And it looks like offside the call. Ball comes out here to Elijah Rowland. Trying to play that diagonal ball in. McDade cut it out, but couldn't really clear it. And the Leeds player goes down. No call. Referee being pretty consistent early on, trying to let these guys play. A couple of needed foul calls, but even one that you could argue maybe deserved a yellow. No card given, so consistently letting them play early on. We'll keep an eye on that as this game progresses. Good defending from Ginley to try and spring Lacey on the counter here. And I think he sprinkled a little nutmeg on that KO Elite's defender and did get past him. The KO Elite defender said no thank you, took him down. And Alessandro Bakabak is in the book. And he'll have to be careful. He's got 2 goals in the campaign, so he's helpful going forward, but I'm not too sure how effective he's going to be defensively going through the rest of this match. So Lacey puts 2 hands up. He's on the set piece. Everybody stacked up at the edge of the box. Ball whipped in back post and inches away from finding the feet of Owen Slack, but it will trickle out for a goal kick. Worth noting, breeze picking up here in Whitehall, going towards kind of the Constitution Conference's far post, that outside, that far side of the field for the wind direction. And it's getting a little bit gusty now, so maybe something to keep an eye on. Did have a brief sprinkle of rain here before kickoff, but for the most part, it's just been roasting here in eastern Pennsylvania. And foul was called here. I think the Westchester players are asking for a card. No dice, but a stern talking to from the referee. That was Michael Weir, who was scolded by our official today, so he'll have to be a little bit careful. Lacey coming forward, nice little move inside, trying to find some open options. He did find someone. Can he get the return pass? He can. Really well done by Buchanan to come cut that out, though. And he'll lift it clear. To McDade sorting it out, and another heavy collision here. Referee saying keep playing. A little bit of a miscommunication, but cleaned up by Robinson. Infield to McDade, a little dummy to open up the space. It's back out to Amit Bogle. Down the right-hand side, cleared by Elites, another corner. Coming up for Westchester, the big boys from the back, making their way forward. Looks like Lacey will be the man on the set piece once again. There is a Predator going short and only one out there to meet him, so they do elect to go short. Shift of the ball, cross wasn't quite what it needed to be, cleared. Westchester still in possession. Robinson lets it run, going towards this near sideline. Little 1-2 on the outside, opens up the space inside. Floated to the back post, headed clear, falling to Dietz. Loses possession and through ball. Had a little too much mustard on it. And a little Cruyff turn from nice. Nobody around, so maybe just for show, but in slack. Diagonal ball, trying to find Lacey. Can he keep it in bounds? Cannot. And now it goes for a goal kick. And I think there was some confusion about whether they were allowed to use that ball. But we're playing, so I guess it's okay. Fielded Jaheim Kennedy. And here's a spell of possession in the attacking third for Elites. Whipped in, but nice, comes off his line very well to claim that one. Robinson leading the charge the other way. In behind for Robinson. Too heavy, Buchanan on the ball now. And here comes that press. Look at those black shirts closing in. And Elite's forced to go backwards. KO from the Hartford area of Connecticut. Making quite a trip down, about 3 to 3.5 hours, if Google Maps is correct. Westchester, a much shorter trip. But you can bet that getting off the bus was probably no issue for either of these teams. Big game here today, as again, this match determines who will play in tomorrow's final. Another scorcher expected too. KO Elites trying to keep that ball in play. They did not. Goal kick. And there is the signal for the cooling break. So should be about 2 to 3 minutes to let these players get rehydrated. If you're just joining us, your score 2-0. Westchester only scoring one of those. The other, unfortunately, an own goal less than 4 minutes into this match. Gave KO Elites a mountain to climb. And McDade going in for the second goal. And I want to give a quick shout out to the officiating crew here today, because while we talk about the players sprinting up and down this field, the officials do it too, and it is toasty out here today, especially on that turf. So big thank you to the officials today and all season here in the APSL for letting these really, really talented players shine. Without them, we wouldn't have any games. So big thank you to all the officials, not just in the APSL, but everywhere, for all you do. Looks like players starting to come back out onto the field. Now keep in mind, it's been about 2 minutes that we've had this drink break, and there's a high likelihood that'll be added on as stoppage at the end of this half. So just, again, an opportunity to let the players rehydrate. Also the added benefit of a quick coaching timeout, which isn't a luxury that's typical in this beautiful game that we love. But you can bet that the KO Elites coaching staff probably used every second of that trying to crack this code that Westchester presents. And I was curious to see whether Westchester might dial it back due to the scope of this game, but the answer, as you have seen through this first half hour or so, has been certainly not. They have been flying that press as usual, and it's a press that's overwhelmed this normally very solid KO Elites defense. So again, just 7 goals allowed in 6 games. McDade on the ball, cutting through the line. Now, it didn't work that time, but that has been a key for Westchester today, has been Jack McDade darting through that KO Elites midfield block and creating some space. Look at the goalkeeper out here being a little bit adventurous in this APSL semifinal, but no harm, no foul. And again, look, this is the key, is can Westchester carve through that mid block? And you can see now, I thought it maybe had just been McDade being adventurous, but it looks like Giuliano Whitechurch was getting involved in the action himself. So it might be a coaching point from that bench to cut through on the dribble, try to open up some space, because you can see they're very disciplined in the middle of the park here when Westchester are on the ball. Back and forth across that defensive line. Ball zipped in down that right-hand side. Buchanan trying to close it down, and he did get there first. Still a Westchester throw-in, but good defending by Buchanan. Back goes Westchester. Around the back 4 they go. There's Joe McDade sending it back out to Bogle. inside to Dietz. Can't get there first, but looks like maybe another corner. It is another corner for Westchester. So again, that's Dylan Lacey to swing in the set piece. Mob of Predators at that back post. Whipped in towards the near post. What a header from the Predators. 3-0 your score in this APSL semifinal. Juliana Whitchurch with a thumping header. Gives Westchester a 3-0 lead just 32 minutes in. A brilliant header, maybe you could argue a better service from Lacey. Ball was on a string. Right to the forehead of Whitchurch. Again, an impressive performance offensively from Westchester, especially considering that they don't have their normal personnel. Some of their normal personnel, I should say. We do have a few of the normal starters, the McDades, Dylan Lacey, Ridge Robinson, just to name a few. To Dietz, going wide to Bogle. Really creative idea for that ball. Cut out, though, by KO Elites. And here's some possession in the attacking third. There's a foul for KO Elites to have a set-piece opportunity. Looked like Elites might have been trying to play that one quickly, but ball was too far forward. Referee called it back. They do play quick. An interesting idea from so far in, but a shot, and that was playing pinball in the Westchester box, and somehow it fell straight to the hands of Valentine Nice. Infield to Robinson. Good shape from the Elites defensive unit to keep them at bay. And a bit of a kick out there from Buchanan, who had already been warned. So that was maybe a questionable decision from that young man, but into the book he goes. And that's going to be something to keep an eye on, because with 10 minutes left to play in the first half, to have a center back against this Westchester press on a yellow is not ideal. Into Robinson. Ball a bit too straight. Goes to Giovanni Grant's hands. You can see the Westchester is even overloading KO Elites in their own third. This Predators team makes you earn every inch against them. Floated ball. Dade tries to close. He's beaten out by the Elites man. Round the corner for the Elites. Elijah Rowland infield. Ball into the box now for the Elites. McDade stands him up. Somehow gets through there. I'm not sure how. Really nice piece of defending. I think it was a crucial one from Juliano Whitchurch, the man who just scored a goal at the other end. Might have just put in a very crucial tackle to save a goal at the other. DeJean Beckford is closing in as this ball was over the top. Offsides the call. That was Michael Tedaitu. Just got behind that KO Elites line. Square ball played inside, turned over. KO Elites chipped ball over the top just a bit too far for Beckford. You know, quality coming through for KO Elites. It's not often that Westchester allow many chances, and they've gotten in behind a couple of times. It's just that final ball is not quite ticking yet for the Elites. Hey, they did score 12 goals in 6 games, so it's not like they're attacking slouches either. I know lots been made about Westchester, as that ball, I believe, was offside. It was. Linesman's flag goes up. Into the middle of the park go the Elites. Rockabach tries to lift that one over here to Rowland, and it did get there eventually. A little spell of possession for Elites. Can they get in behind? They can't. Lacey now in some space. Robinson trying to run onto it. He gets it in some space. I think he believed he was offsides. You know, I don't think he was. That weak side center back, Buchanan, actually dropped back. And I think Ridge was onside, but we'll never know. A couple of step overs. Down the left-hand side for Elites. The cross put in, hammered right back out. Shot from distance, and nice safe hands to keep it out. It was actually Michael Ware having that shot from distance, so the outside back's trying to get involved in the attack for Elites. And this is something else that we should discuss. Substitutes are getting ready on that Westchester sideline. As it looks like Slack is having a little bit of a tussle on that far side. Looks like Robinson having a word with Jaheim Kennedy. We'll see what the referees decide here. So a yellow card issued to Jaheim Kennedy. And I think that's it. Normally, in that kind of scuffle, you'll see both players carded. But it looks like Slack escaped. And now, so the goalkeeper, Giovanni Grant, is needing to be pushed away from this official. The referee's just got his yellow card in his hand, which makes me think he's... It's funny, this referee's just, his card's just hanging out in his hand. It's as if he's just waiting for an excuse to dole it out again. Now, I think he just put it in his pocket now. That's Lamar Chansey having a word with him. He is the skipper for this Elites team. Still talking to the official about that decision. Again, you can kind of see why. Normally, when you have that pushing and shoving match, both parties will be assigned equal blame, but to his credit, the assistant referee was right there. So I have to think he probably vouched for the Westchester player. And now there's substitutes for this Elites team coming over and getting involved, which you really don't love to see. And now, some substitutes coming on. August Ginley will make way, as will Joe McDade, as will Jack McDade. As will Michael Tedites. So, 4 substitutes coming onto the pitch. And this is a big talking point for today's match into tomorrow's match. If Westchester hangs on here today, and they can do so with a big lead intact, they're going to be able to rotate that squad and be fresher for tomorrow. Keep in mind, folks, if you're not local to the area, it's about 90 degrees today. It could be as high as 95 here tomorrow. So to have these players just a bit more fresh, I think you can argue Westchester already have a slight advantage being the first game today. They're going to have just a couple hours extra of a recovery before tomorrow's match, which kicks off at noon. So it's a really tight turnaround, and if Westchester can keep this 3-0 lead intact and they can rotate more of these players, that's going to pay big dividends tomorrow. And I think that's why you're seeing that really early substitution from the Westchester bench, because every minute is going to count tomorrow as we approach the 90th minute of tomorrow's match. But there's always the chance it comes back to bite them, because they need to maintain the standard of play. Referee says the Constitution player, or excuse me, the Elites player got the ball and then was fouled. And 4 minutes of stoppage time to play for this first half. I'm going to have to put in a word with the commissioner. That is a nice touch. That is not typically notified in regular season APSL competition, but for the semifinals, the big board came out, and that is nice to have. Format, and with this KO Elites playing quickly here. If they can claw back a goal before halftime, I think the entire complexion of this game kind of changes. 4 starters now off the pitch for Westchester. They cannot come back on. So Brockback has a hit, and nice again. It's like he's got a magnet for this ball. Everything seems to be right at him. Even on deflections and the like. Now, there is a Westchester man up by the touchline. I don't know if he's intending to come on to this match. He is. Another substitute coming on. That's Ayub Mohu. So, for those of you who are unfamiliar, that might be one of the best substitution options in the entire APSL. Ayub Mahu is a Delaware River Team of the Season player, 13 goals and 4 assists, and he started on the bench today. So I'm not sure, maybe trying to rest the legs or what the decision was there, but that is one heck of a talent to come off the bench. The Predators coaching staff just spoiled with riches to be able to have that kind of talent come onto this match just a few minutes before halftime, about halfway through that stoppage time allotment. Now, keep in mind, the referee can always allow a little more, but the initial allotment of 4 minutes, halfway through that, here comes Westchester bouncing it around the back here. Chaz Wilson newly onto the pitch playing, and look out here to Mahu in a lot of space. Ball was a bit behind him. He had to kind of hold up Lacey and Mahu on a 1-2 onto that wicked left foot of his. And it looked like Buchanan put in a really strong tackle on a yellow card, keep in mind. But so he had to get that right, and he did. Here's Wilson winning the ball back in a really big spot. Here comes Beckwith. On to Robinson. Calls for offside. I think Beckwith was. Robinson's not. Robinson scores. It looked like everyone stopped because Beckwith was on offside except for Robinson, who was not. I don't believe Beckwith was affecting the play. Really smart goal there from the leading goal scorer in the APSL Delaware River Conference. "4-0, your score here in Whitehall, just seconds before halftime. And as I mentioned, that substitution factor is playing a big part in the story of this APSL postseason, because Nice is now taking a seat on the bench. So even rotating in their goalkeeper, and that will be the last thing that happens in this first half. Your score from Whitehall High School: Westchester Predators 4, KO Elites 0. Don't go anywhere. Second half coming up in just a few minutes.
My name is Austin Brummett. I'm a men's soccer player at San Diego State University, and I play forward. The Salt Air Case helps block odor from my cleats when I'm driving in my car or when I'm keeping my cleats inside my house, so I don't have to worry about it stinking up my room. It helps me keep track of my cleats and my shin guards, so I know that they're together, and I don't have to worry about tracking them down or losing them or stressing out about where they are. I would definitely rock this, walking to the games, walking around to my trainings. And it's super helpful for travel. When I travel in the airport to go to away games, it's not going to stink up my backpack or stink up the plane where I'm sitting. Magnetic strip on the top is super easy to open to take my cleats out and to put my cleats back in. I think it's an essential part of my outfit for soccer, and it helps keep all my stuff organized and stink-free.
A quality highlight reel is crucial for college and pro recruitment. A lot of services offer generic solutions, but at Game & Frame we know every player is unique and needs a personalised approach to win over coaches. Our process is simple. We work with any footage, and if you need help finding your best plays, we'll review games for you. Once we've finished, you'll have a reel you can upload to any recruitment platform. We've helped hundreds of players get the attention they deserve, including placements in Division I programs. Scan the QR code or email us for a free consultation and start the journey to maximize your recruitment potential.
Welcome back to bright and sunny Upper Macungie, Pennsylvania, the campus of Whitehall University, where you missed, if you did miss, a first half full of goals for Westchester, 4-0. Your score here at halftime, just about to get underway, and there is the whistle. 45 minutes down, 45 left to go here in the first of our two APSL semifinals. Westchester really bossed the play in that first half, but it's a lot of soccer left to be played. Wilson running down that left-hand side, ball clipped forward, but a bit too strong and into the hands of Giovanni Grant it goes. And ball bouncing around that back line. Corner kick, the call for Westchester. And Dylan Lacey got himself an assist in that first half with a perfect whipped-in ball to that near post. Now, his target, McDade, has taken a seat on the bench. Actually, both McDades. Jack McDade was the goal scorer, but both McDades on the bench now. So we'll see who Lacey tries to pick out on this one. And flicked on. Elites managed to claw it out of there. And Wilson steps in, makes a really nice tackle. Again, a lot of this Westchester team is now substitutes. Ball bounced off. We were saying it up here in the commentary booth, the desire to be a fly on the wall of that team talk for KO Elites, because they were treated to the full Westchester Predator experience in that first half. A vicious press that usually results in the Predators winning that ball very high up the field. But looks like we're having a bit more possession to start this second half, which is good news, because the only thing worse than chasing the game is chasing the game when it's 90 degrees out. And Brackenback a little further forward than we saw him in the first half. He's trying to hold up play for Westchester rather than getting on the ball and doing what he likes in the attacking third. A hit from distance. What a strike! KO Elite on the board, nice and early in this second half. What a hit! If I'm not mistaken, that was the skipper, Lamar Chansey. Who unleashed a missile from about 30 yards out, in off the post. And look at this, Bohu trying to catch the goalkeeper napping, and Giovanni Grant kind of cheekily chests that down to himself rather than catching it with his hands. 4-1, your score. Less than 4 minutes in. That's both halves of this game. We've had a goal in less than 4 minutes. And ironically, both were scored by KO Elites. Unfortunately, the first one was scored on themselves, but still true. Worth noting that Eric Axtman is now in goal for Westchester. Valentine Nice was removed at the end of that first half, assuming just trying to rotate players. But again, this is the danger, right? You substitute a lot of your starters, and then KO Elites goes and nabs that goal. And now you could argue they're the ones with the momentum here. And if they can find their way back into this match, you've burned a lot of your substitutes trying to look too far ahead to tomorrow's match. So it's, again, it's just the chess match that takes part on a soccer pitch game in and game out. And it's another thing for the Predators coaching staff to navigate. And look at this, KO Elites advancing again. Excuse me, there's a, just got dive bombed by a bee. Down this left-hand side. And that ball is actually going to sit. Goalkeeper comes, really good decision it turned out to be from Eric Axman. I was questioning the call, but it was the right one. Came flying off his line to deny that cross from coming in. Mohu dribbling around seemingly the entire KO Elite midfield. Robinson now out on this right-hand side. I'm not sure if he's a right back or right mid, but not as far forward as we're used to seeing him. Something to keep an eye on. Braca back. He goes backwards. Turned over in the middle of the park. Ayub Mahu with some space in the middle of the field. Gets the 1-2 back on that dangerous left foot. Pulls his shot. And just a bit too far. For the on-rushing attacker to get to. Ball played over the top. Robinson giving chase defensively, that is. Outside of the foot cross and headed well clear by Wilson. Corner for KO. The pendulum of momentum firmly on the side of KO Elite. Joseph Boakye to take the corner. Must be said, not a ton of pink shirts in that scrum. But it does find one of them. That's all that really mattered. A little step over. Cross pummeled into the box, headed clear by August Axman. So another one pair of brothers subbed off, another subbed on, August Axman and Eric Axman. Eric, the goalkeeper, August, the defensive midfielder. So another something to keep in mind. Shouts for offsides. Axman, the goalkeeper, comes to retrieve that one. August Axman. Look, a little press of their own from KO Elites. Maybe something discussed in the changing room at halftime. Lacey looking for his runner. And Beckwith, the man giving chase. Couldn't quite get there. Ball floated out on this left-hand side. Couldn't keep it in. While we have a second, I want to remind everyone that today's Game and Frame broadcast is sponsored by Salt Athletic. Salt have made the world's freshest, most advanced cleat bag. The Air Case uses antimicrobial technology to block smell, making for odor-free car rides and houses. Salt is offering the Game and Frame community an exclusive discount, so scan that QR code to get 10% off. And remember to keep it fresh. Ten minutes into this first half, 4-1 the score. 35 minutes left to play in regulation. Lacey tried to get that ball through to Mahu. Two times asking, couldn't quite do it. Trickles out for a goal kick. Remember, after today's match, kickoff at 7 p.m. is the other APSL semi-final. Nova taking on Pan-Cyprian Freedoms to see who will be the other team in that coveted APSL final being played right here tomorrow at noon. You can also catch that here on Game in Frame. So lots going on here, as always, here at Game in Frame, your home for grassroots soccer here in the Northeast. Ball played forward down this right-hand side. KO Elites with some momentum, but I think that was a cross, was the attempt. Went flying over the bar, and it looks like we're going to have a substitute. So, looks like Joel Agbatosu coming on. He did have a goal in the regular season campaign this year. So maybe an attacking threat. Turnover from Westchester. Ball played in behind. Ooh, looked like Lacey got caught with the ball under his feet. I think he's okay. Excuse me, that was Liam Beckwith. My apologies. Playing around the back is Westchester. Shouts for a press coming from the bench of KO Elite. Ball fizzed in, looking for Ryan Noel, but I think it was offsides, and indeed it was. KO Elite's coming the other way. Some combination play being shown from KO Elites. We didn't really see that much in the first half. It's an encouraging sign from a team that really coming off the field after that first half just looked like they didn't know which way was up, and now got their goal, and you could see the confidence growing in the gentleman in pink. Fizzed wide. Back infield. Really nice idea for the through ball played in behind. It's kind of dealt with by Whitchurch, the goal scorer, and Constitution, or excuse me, I keep saying that, the KO Elites player goes over, and it was just a throw in. Noel combines with Robinson up to Lacey. Back to Robinson. Axman on the ball now. Inside to Thomas Ascoli, who must have come on in that flurry of substitutions toward the end of that first half. And that's Axtman. Robinson playing that one forward, but that's safely at the feet of Buchanan, who, remember, is on a yellow card from that first half. Again, another nice piece of combination play. Credit to the referees, not calling those little ticky-tack fouls. He's letting them play, which is, in my opinion, a good idea for postseason play. Robinson went to ground there and is staying down. But look at this. Here comes Lacey. Across the field of Mahou and acres of space. One touch finish into the back of the net. The deficit for KO Elites is back to 4. Mahou has been a goal-scoring machine all season. This postseason's been no different. He scored in the Delaware River Conference Final. He scored in this semifinal. More brilliant play from Westchester. It started, oddly enough, with a slide tackle from Ridge Robinson, who I believe is playing right back. So you're being treated to all sorts of changes from this Westchester team. Again, I think in an effort to rest players for tomorrow. And even still, they're able to score. Granted, they're also able to concede, as we saw. So can KO get that goal back? Score now 5-1. See how confident even the substitutes of Westchester are with the ball at their feet in really tight spaces. Able to keep KO Elites off the ball. Ball over the top for Lacey. And ball trickled out of play. That'll be a Westchester corner. Again, just something to keep an eye on. We probably will have another hydration break this half. So we'll have a 2 to 3 minute stoppage, just like we did in the first half. And I don't know if you could see that on your screen, but Buchanan just down stretching those calves out. Ball played towards the top of the box, falls to Mahou in acres of space, hit towards goal. Buchanan blocks. It's still in that KO Elites box, goes out for another corner. It looks like Mahou is ruining the missed chance there. He had a lot of time on the top of that box. But it was blocked in front. And as I was mentioning, as that corner was being taken, Buchanan was down stretching those calves out. That's going to be something to watch for. Very hot here. And the minutes, especially for KO Elites, who've been chasing this game for the most part and haven't been flinging substitutes in and out like Westchester has done. As we get deeper into this match, it's going to get tougher and tougher. Ball whipped in towards that back post. It fell for Robinson, but bounced up at an awkward angle. He couldn't get a good hit on it, and it trickles out for a KO Elite ball. Again, just something to keep an eye out for, as that ball is almost found. And forgive me, ladies and gentlemen watching at home, I don't have a roster number for that target forward, but if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's Valentine Nice, who's the man who started in goal for Westchester. I think he is now on as target forward. So not something you see every day, but I'm almost certain that's the case. As Mahu picks his head up, and that goes back to Buchanan. It's chested down. Lacey got there, and it's fallen to Lacey, and now it's in the back of the net. An opportunistic finish from Westchester. Make it 6-1. You can see that all that pressure that KO Elite's been under all match, just weighing on that back line. It's forcing some errors that almost certainly weren't made over the course of the regular season. Again, they came into this match giving up just 7 goals in 6 games. But Westchester have put 6 by them. We still have about 25 minutes left to play in this APSL semifinal. Again, winner of this match takes on either Nova or Pancyprian Freedom, who will play at 7 o'clock today here on Game and Frame. So we've got you covered all afternoon and evening here on this sweltering day. Substitutes for KO Elite: Alessandro Bacaba coming off, Brian Silva coming onto the pitch. And looks like a second substitute coming on as well. Shawnee Miller making way as well. Goes back to Buchanan, who again is on a yellow. It's the goal scorer, Chansey, floating that ball down this left-hand side. It's kept in for now. Westchester player goes down, foul awarded. It's Joseph Boyakie who just fouled on the edge of the box there. Scully bounces it out. Back to Axman, the goalkeeper, over to Axman, the defender. Mohu gets his pocket picked, but luckily fell straight back to a Predators player. Over the top, looking for Lacey. Good goalkeeping by Giovanni Grant to come well off his line to pick out the danger. You can see it looks like KO Elite's trying to press this game a little bit. They have to. Into the box. Cut back. Picked off by Robinson, who has put on his defensive hat for this second half and has done a pretty solid job so far. And you see KO Elite overwhelming the middle of the box, and a lucky deflection sends that back to Axman. Second half, there's been a lot more combination play from KO Elite, so if this is the end of their season, some good things to build on as they head into what we call the off season, but there are other competitions as well that a lot of these players take part in over the course of the summer. Ooh. I think our starting goalkeeper is having less fun with his defensive duties out on the field, as a sliding challenge didn't quite go to plan for him. And hopefully he's okay. It looks like he's laboring a bit. "20 minutes left to play as this ball's floated over the top, looking for Lacey. Poked free by Lacey, and oh, that is called a foul on Lacey. And that, I think, yeah, that's the hydration break the referees just signaled for. So 20 minutes left to play, although we're going to take 2 up here. Again, just keep an eye out for that in stoppage time towards the end of the half. Be curious to see if, in fact, Westchester hangs on today, how different that starting lineup will look tomorrow. Maybe some reinforcements coming in the form of some of these players caught up in other competitions today. But if that lineup is similar to today, at the very least, they will be well rested. Some of those starters came off about 35 minutes into today's game, 4 of them to be exact. And even that coaching staff deploying the starting goalkeeper as a field player to give another field player a rest. So, again, just maybe giving them that slight advantage over the winner of our second semifinal game, which is coming up at 7 p.m. Again, maybe you can argue already a slight disadvantage for those 2 teams playing a little later with such a tight turnaround, playing tomorrow at noon for this final. And again, the legs are going to be something to watch at the end of today's game, but especially towards the end of tomorrow's game. It's a lot of minutes in some very hot weather that these guys are going to be playing towards the end of the season here in the APSL. Looks like we're about ready to get back underway from that hydration break. It's KO Elite's ball in their defensive third. Nice spell of possession for KO Elites. Maybe Westchester just backing off that press a bit. And there's the runner coming through that line for, oh, a strong challenge. And the Westchester player was actually, I think, shoved into the KO Elites goalkeeper. And that's a yellow card issued to Lamar Chansey. And maybe you could argue the referee maybe being a bit generous there if he did deem it was the last offender. And it'll be interesting to see where the referee rules this ball, where this foul occurred, because I was right on the edge of that box, so close so that the foul actually took the Westchester player into Giovanni Grant, the KO Elite goalkeeper. Training staff just out there to check on, I think, both of these guys, to be honest with you. I haven't confirmed yet who's down for Westchester. Now back up for Westchester. That's Ryan Noel, who was fouled. He's the Westchester player, but of bigger concern now, Giovanni Grant still down for KO Elites. You really don't want to have to be substituting your goalkeeper against anyone, really, but particularly in a semifinal and particularly against the Westchester Predators. So fingers crossed that he's okay. It looks like the coach is now being waved on for KO Elites. Now, good sign, Giovanni Grant back on his feet. Looks like a lower body injury. Can't tell exactly what they're looking at, but something with that lower body. So good to see him back on his feet. And yes, so we will have a penalty here. That foul was ruled inside the box. And now here's an extra wrinkle to this. Noel is being escorted to the bench. Now, he did receive treatment, so there's a chance that's just because of that, and he's okay to continue, but just something to keep an eye on there. We'll watch that. But first, and more importantly, we have Lacey taking a penalty kick. A solid strike into the lower left. Widens the margin for Westchester. 7-1. Lacey has been the creative engine for this Predators team all match, and that's now his second goal in this second half. So hat trick watch is on for the young midfielder from Westchester. And look at this. That ball was picked off the kickoff, and Lacey actually got on the end of it. And yeah, I was wondering, nobody was moving. I thought maybe there was a problem with the restart there, but it looks like had that ball been on target, it would have counted. So again, just Lacey seemingly just a bit sharper than everyone else on the field, including members of his own team, because everyone stood still. KO Elites now shooting from distance, skipped in to Axman, who handles it well. And I think that might be the first miscue from Lacey I remember seeing all game today. Turn that ball over and might create a chance here for Elites. In the box, tried to hammer it on goal, but it was blocked. And nice trying to get it forward, but... And look at this, a shot from distance. And looks like Elites are trying to buy lottery tickets out there, just shooting from distance and seeing what sticks. And KO Elites player just pointing something out. Ryan Noel has not actually re-entered this game yet. He's still on the sideline there being evaluated. So the Westchester is actually playing a man down. They're at 10 men right now. So that's just something to keep an eye on. Little flicked move, KO Elites, but it's gobbled up by the Predators. Axman to Axman. So minus stoppage time, 10 minutes left to play in our first semifinal. Should have some stoppage for that hydration break. But with each passing second, the writing gets more and more clear on the wall. As Lacey, lovely little clipped ball, goes forward, and I think he was actually called for dangerous play there. Or was it offside? Offside. So a little unlucky there, as I think Lacey wasn't really trying to pass that ball. He was just trying to lift it over. But offside's the call. Oh, lovely ball played through for KO Elite. Onto his left foot, has a strike, but again, right at Axman, the goalkeeper. And look at Mahou. Legs are a bit fresher than everyone else on the field. Ahead to Nice. Oh, little tecker from the starting goalkeeper, but lost the ball. His teammates pick him back up. He's in on goal. Oh, but the offside flag is up. A moment of dreams for all the goalkeepers out there in on goal, but he was just offside, as Ryan Noel, unfortunately, will have to come out of this match. They didn't let him back on after that collision. So sad to see him exit. And oh my goodness, a flying volley actually hit the crossbar for KO Elite. So it really isn't, for lack of trying, that this goal margin has gotten so wide. That's the fourth or fifth really, really good chance. As worth noting, Bobby Hickerson is the man who came into this match for Ryan Noel, and he's on the ball right now. So again, just some fresh legs to contribute. As the seconds tick by, ball played in over the top, but a bit too strong. That'll trickle to Giovanni Grant's waiting arms. Ooh, a stiff arm there from the KO Elites player, and managed to keep the Predators man at bay. Nice blocks that one nicely. Thanks, I'll be here all week. And turnover in a bad spot. And from distance, look at that. That was a speculative effort. But if I'm Dylan Lacey, I am screaming at Liam Beckwith, because he was in on goal for the hat trick. And Beckwith decided to shoot from about 50 yards. Mahou now in on goal, and he's scored a second. What a goal from Mahou from a really tight angle. Make it 8-1 for the Predators. So a little over 5 minutes left in regulation, and I can pretty confidently say now that Westchester will be moving on to the APSL final. Now KO Elites will be awarded a free kick here. They go short. A little 1-2 play by KO Elites, and they've won a corner here. Again, it's the attacking effectiveness is there. It's maybe just not able to keep up with this Westchester onslaught that we've seen today, the latest in a long number of onslaughts. If you've kept up with the APSL Delaware River Conference. Ball clipped into the middle, headed clear for Westchester. Hickerson on his bike, galloping forward. Really nice ball played forward for Beckwith. He's in behind, looking for help. Squared to Nice, top of the box, touch, hit right at the goalkeeper, Grant. Good strike from the goalkeeper, but not quite the finish required. Axman dishes it out to Robinson. Back to Axman, under some pressure here. It is clipped forward. Really nice ball, actually, to Lacey, who finds Nice. He's in a lot of space. He's got those KO Elite players coming. A chipped effort, and what a strike from Valentine Nice, the starting goalkeeper in today's game. Goes onto the field to give his field players a rest ahead of tomorrow's match. And he has put together a peach of a finish to put Westchester up 9-1. And now, the remaining 3 minutes, essentially a formality. Axman with it, and you can see, I think he's just happy to wait until he's pressed by one of those Elites players. Lacey fizzes it out to Nice. Touch out from his feet. Back to Lacey, top of the box. Picks his head up. 1-2 at the top with Beckwith. Beckwith's in behind, and make it 10. Double digits in the APSL semifinal for Westchester. It's been an attacking clinic all season from the Predators, and this first semifinal is no different. 10 goals, which is 3 more than KO Elites allowed all of their league campaign. About 2.5 minutes. 1.5 minutes, 90 seconds remaining of the 90. Possibly having some stoppage time. We'll keep an eye out as KO Elites are getting a spell of possession towards that attacking third. And one back by Westchester. Robinson was trying to get forward there, but the pass was behind him, so he elects to go backwards. Axman goes back to Axman, who plays it back to Axman, who plays it back to Axman. Robinson now Less than 30 seconds remaining in the 90. Looks like both teams are happy to see this one finish up. As the whistle has not blown yet, but there it is, your final score of the first APSL semifinal. Westchester 10, KO Elites 1. Don't go anywhere. Interview coming up in just a few minutes. Back here at the campus of Whitehall High School with Dylan Lacey. And Dylan, all season you guys have been running roughshod over the APSL Delaware River Conference. Yep. I want to know, coming into this game, was there any difference you guys wanted to make tactically, not really knowing the opponent as well, or was it just business as usual?
Just business as usual, going to every game, just trying to be the dominant team, impose our style of play on the opponent, and then what you saw today, that's what we do. Just score goals, have fun, and win games.
Score goals is an understatement, folks. 10 of them to be exact here today. This isn't a new thing for you guys. You score a lot of goals seemingly all season. What has made that attack so potent all season, but in particular here today?
Just the fluidity with the boys. I mean, just we spend so much time together on the field, and just everybody wants to score, everybody wants to assist, so it's just so much fun playing with the guys out there, and you just have a blast on the field. I mean, that's all I could say.
2 goals and 3 assists for you today, so you were primarily playing that kind of creator role in that first half, and then you got on the board with a couple of your own goals.
Yeah.
What makes it easy for you as that creative presence to be able to feed these guys?
I mean, just like I said, just the fluidity with us. I mean, when I'm on the ball, I'm looking for my teammates in behind, into feet, wherever the space is, and my teammates just having trust with me on the ball, just giving me the ball in good areas of the field where I'm facing towards goal, and then they have trust in me finding them, and I have trust in them finding me in front of net, so that's all there is to it.
How crucial was it for your squad? Now, I know you played the full 90, but how crucial was it for your coaching staff to be able to rotate a lot of your squad out with that big final coming up in, just a few hours time, really, just, less than 24 hours?
I mean, it's a lot. I mean, just resting players, keeping their legs for tomorrow's match, which is going to be a great match, and just, I don't know what else to say, really. Yeah.
So, tomorrow, we don't know who you're going to play yet. One of these two teams about to take the field here in a few moments. But what do you got to do tomorrow to be crowned champions of the APSL?
Same thing, just bag goals, have fun on the field, just play with that same fluidity that we had all year, and just dominate the game. That's all there is to it.
Well, you just heard the creed of Westchester Predators bag some goals, and they did it today, 10-1 here in the first APSL semifinal. Don't go anywhere. We got the second semifinal coming up in just a few moments. But for now, I'm Jake Gillespie for my man Nick on the camera. Thank you so much for watching this Game and Frame presentation.